The search narrows for those who tipped off the House Intelligence Committee chairman about Obama administration surveillance on President Donald Trump. This is Special Report. Good evening. I'm Shannon Breedman for Brett Baer. We have new information tonight about who may have been talking to House Intelligence Chairman Devin Nunes about the previous administration's surveillance that scooped up some of Donald Trump's associates. Chief White House correspondent John Roberts begins our coverage tonight with some late breaking news. Good evening, John.
Shannon, good evening to you. The TikTok of all of this is becoming clearer tonight. It appears that staffers at the National Security Council came across a number of instances in which the names of members of President Trump's transition, including the president-elect himself, were showing up in intelligence documents. That information was then brought to the attention of the White House counsel's office, which alerted the Intelligence Committee chairman in the House, Devin Nunes, who had been charged with heading up the investigation into possible surveillance of Trump transition officials. Fox News has confirmed that two White House staffers, N.S.C. Intelligence Chief Ezra Cohen-Watnick and Michael Ellis of the White House counsel's office, aided Congressman Devin Nunes in his March 21st search for intelligence at the White House complex. The disclosure raised more questions about connections between the House Intelligence Committee chairman and the administration. At the daily briefing today, Press Secretary Sean Spicer stressed what's important is the substance, not the process.
Your obsession with who talked to whom and when is not the answer here. It should be the substance. It seems now that you continue to look at it from a backwards prism, which is, what happened, who drove in what gate, who did they meet with, what were they wearing that day, as opposed to what's the underlying substance of this. Did something happen in the 2016 election? Did leaks occur?
The White House today tried to change the subject, revealing the NSC has uncovered information relevant to the investigation into whether intelligence on transition officials had been mishandled and leaked, and is eager to share it with the intelligence committees.
We have and will invite the Senate and House ranking members and chairmen up to the White House to view that material in accordance with their schedule.
The ranking member of the House committee was quick to accept the invitation, but added if these are the same materials Nunes viewed, that's troubling.
It raised a profound question why they were not directly provided to the White House by the National Security staff, and instead were provided through a circuitous route involving the chairman.
And tonight there's new information and a new player in the investigation into the alleged Trump-Russia connection. We're learning about a person who may have been in position to share information about surveillance of the Trump team. Correspondent Peter Ducey has the latest tonight from Capitol Hill. Good evening, Peter.
Good evening, Shannon. For the first time since the Intel Committee Chairman Devin Nunes told the world he has proof members of the Trump team had their names inappropriately unmasked by U.S. intelligence agencies, Nunes met with his Democratic counterpart, Congressman Adam Schiff. But Schiff tells me at this meeting, Nunes did not share evidence with him, and he still hasn't shared it with anyone.
I think it was certainly not an easy meeting, but an important one.
As it turns out, a huge clue may have been hiding in plain sight for weeks, because a former Obama administration official named Evelyn Farkas, who specialized in Russia at the Pentagon, admitted on live TV that she was telling former colleagues to collect as much intel on the Trump team as possible before his swearing in. And Farkas also explained why.
I had a fear that somehow that information would disappear with the senior people who left, so it would be hidden away in the bureaucracy, that the Trump folks, if they found out how we knew what we knew about the Trump staff's dealing with Russians, that they would try to compromise those sources and methods.
Trump transition officials think that comment is a gold mine for congressional committees.
They need to be deposing her immediately to find out who exactly she was talking to, and is she one of those that was leaking the information?
I'd like to call this hearing to order.
The first public hearing of the Senate Intel Committee's Russia investigation was today, and one witness debunked the idea that Russians were just trying to help Trump.
The Republicans, tend to come up, but the Democrats, they were there too. They were with Bernie Sanders supporters trying to influence them in different directions. So they play all sides.
The top Republican in Congress, Speaker Paul Ryan, is now pleading with colleagues to keep their eyes on the ball.
This has gotten a little political. Let's take a pause. And let's just get all the evidence, all the documents, and find out what happened.
The FBI is trying to keep politics out of its election investigation, which, as it turns out, has been going on since before Director James Comey's now infamous pair of public statements about Hillary Clinton's email server. Because Newsweek reports Comey wanted to publish an op-ed about Russian meddling in the U.S. election last summer, but was apparently told he couldn't by officials in the Obama administration. Last night, Director Comey said that in the end, he doesn't care who wins and loses based on things his agents find.
We're not on anybody's side, ever. We're not considering whose ox will be gored by this action or that action, whose fortunes will be helped by this or that. We just don't care.
Just because talk of Russian interference today in the last few days is focused on the 2016 election doesn't mean it stopped then, because today Senator Marco Rubio revealed that some former staffers from his presidential campaign were targeted by someone with an IP address in Russia yesterday. Shannon?
Very interesting. All right, Peter Ducey live on the Hill. Thank you. A man who's at the center of the Russia allegations has gone on the record with Fox News. Chief Intelligence Correspondent Catherine Herridge has the story of Carter Page in his own words.
I think it's about dirty politics.
In a wide-ranging interview with Fox News, former Trump campaign foreign policy advisor Carter Page denied allegations he colluded with Vladimir Putin's government during the 2016 election.
Did you work with the Russians to help the Trump campaign?
Absolutely not. I did nothing that could even be possibly viewed as helping them in any way.
Did you work with the Russians to hurt the Clinton campaign?
Absolutely not.
Page, who worked national security issues between March and September 2016, said his criticism of the Obama administration's strategy and his deep business contacts with Russia made him a target.
I think it was a pretty logical political choice for them to pick me out.
On former British intelligence officer Christopher Steele's Trump dossier, Page said the allegations against him are baseless.
The stuff about me is just literally completely false in every way, shape, and form.
Do you know this former British intelligence officer Christopher Steele?
I've never met him.
In early July, Carter Page.
The House Intelligence Committee's ranking Democrat Adam Schiff cited sections of the dossier during the March 20th Russia hearing with the FBI and NSA directors.
Frankly, I was laughing. I think that's part of the reason why I'm excited about helping the committee.
Are you prepared to testify publicly?
I would love to. I can't wait for them to ask me about the crazy allegations that came out of that dossier.
Most of the allegations center around Page's July 2016 Russia trip, where he gave a graduation speech.
To be clear, you told the Trump campaign you were going to Moscow, but you were going as a private citizen.
Yes.
Were you paid for the speech?
I was paid $0.
The dossier alleges Page met with Igor Sechin, CEO of Russian gas giant Rosneft, and reportedly a close friend of Putin and a former Russian intelligence agent.
I have never met Igor Sechin in my life.
There was no deal with Igor Sechin through which you would personally profit financially.
Absolutely not.
According to the dossier, campaign chairman Paul Manafort chose you to be the point of contact with the Russians.
I never had a conversation with Mr. Manafort, so totally false.
Congressional investigators are probing Russian Ambassador Sergei Kislyak's contact with the Trump campaign and transition teams.
You're the first person in the media that I'm saying this very directly to. I said hello to him in passing, handed him my business card, and never got a business card from him, as I did for many ambassadors in Cleveland during the Republican National Convention.
Did you ever hear from the Russian ambassador again?
Never, not a word.
Page was less forthcoming on other issues.
And how did you come to work for the Trump campaign?
I've been the center of so much controversy. I don't like digging into details of the individuals.
Has the FBI contacted you or your lawyers?
I do not talk about ongoing any investigation which may be going on.
Page said the allegations leveled against the Trump team are as damaging as Russia's interference.
Aside from these dodgy dossiers is put aside and we get to real hard facts, I think people are going to see where the real negative influence on the election was.
In Washington, Catherine Herridge, Fox News.